Okie doke, Scorpio. Let's take a look. What's going down? How are you, Scorpio? Thank you so much for clicking here. This is your weekly reading. Welcome to the weekend. I know. I'm so far behind. I feel like I'm first, Scorpio. There's been a lot of construction going on around here. And so I'm just trying to read through all the chaos is all it is. So how you doing? I hope you're well. Thanks so much for clicking here. I appreciate you and your patience. So let's find out what's going on. Let's talk about what's coming up. Look, we got all kinds of crap coming up in February, but look, we'll just stick with what's going on right now, right? So how you doing? How you doing in these energies? We just had a full moon. We're going to be talking in this reading about maybe what you may have let go of or what you're trying to let go of and what the fallout of that might be and what might be changing for you since the Leo full moon. Leo full moon happened around the beginning of the month. Of course, we're still kind of there. And then we have an eclipse coming up on the 17th. So look, we're in this February energy. Let's find out what's going on for you, Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter. At the end of this video, I'm going to tell you about extended readings and about private readings. All right. All right, my friend. Get in the flow. I feel like it's a little bit of a rocky beginning, I'm going to say. You may have made the decision to let something go, but I think that you made that decision with empathy. So I don't think that you cut anybody out of your life is what I'm saying. I don't think you did it for the wrong reasons. I don't think you went out in a blaze of fire. I don't think that was an argument or a fight. It may have just been a withdrawal of energy. It feels like it probably was a withdrawal of energy, or someone withdrew their energy from you, but it was with empathy. And what I mean by that is there was no arguing, no fighting. You just want to get back in the flow. That's what it feels like here. It feels like it was in an effort to calm the open seas. It feels like there was a lot of emotional turbulence going on, like a storm. So I feel like that you were trying to be courageous about something, or there was a lot of emotional, turbulence going on for you. And the only way that you could get in the flow, my friend, is by showing some empathy. So I feel like either someone did that to you or you did that to them. I have a feeling it's you that pulled your energy away. Let's look at one more card here. Tell me more about Scorpio. And if you're dealing with a Scorpio and Scorpio has pulled their energy away, it might be because the situation that you two were in was just causing too much turbulence. And so I don't think that this is a permanent pull away, understand? I think it's just in an effort to calm the seas, right? Somebody's trying to practice courage, trying to practice holding back their energy. Instead of making it worse than it is, they're just trying to hold back their energy in order to possibly organize themselves. Somebody needs a little bit of space. So we have answering the call. It says the time is now. So, and that's why I'm saying that I feel like this is, it sort of feels like whiplash. Like something went on. Somebody felt like, oh God, I have feelings. Like that's what it feels like. And then somebody retracted their energy, pulled it back in order to get their flow back. But I feel like it was done in an empathic way. I don't feel like it was done in an angry way. So I feel like it was in order to answer the call. So the answer the call card is here. It says the time is now. It feels like that once you do pull back your energy and get back in the flow again, so you calm the seas, like calm this turbulence here, I feel like that's when you finally open the door again. So I feel like you're not closing the door on something permanently. It was like, wait a second, no, that's too much, too fast. That's what it feels like here. We've got nourish. I think this is what you're doing. I think that you're taking the time to take care of you, nourish the self, figure out what's going on until you have a reasonable idea, illuminate, right? Until you have a reasonable idea of what is going on and how deep this really is going. We've got these lily pads and we've got a moon that's reflecting in the water. So I feel like you, my friend, have to do things out of inspiration. You can't be pushed into anything. You have to be inspired to move forward. You have to be inspired to show somebody your feelings. It's not like they're just going to have access to that. So I feel like you will be going back to this or backtracking to this, or somebody will be backtracking with you if you're watching about a Scorpio. We've got surrendering to the journey. Yeah, releasing control. You know what I think this is? This feels like an old wound, or it feels like this is a pattern that you're trying to break, but you're like, oh, oh shoot, I did that again. That's what it feels like here. I did that again. I pulled back my energy with this is what I usually do, and I'm trying to break that cycle because it says here that you're trying to surrender to the journey and release control. And I think that it's releasing control on your emotions, like allowing yourself to feel something. We're going to go over this with tarot. But first, I'm going to pull a surrender card because we did just get through a full moon, right? Not long ago. And maybe this will help you with what you can release possibly, or what you may need to release in order to be able to get back in the flow and open the door to answer the call. Tell me, what about the surrender? What should Scorpio surrender? We've got surrender to the beauty of the natural world. And it says, take a relaxing break and spend time in nature. Replenish yourself by feeling the beauty and the ecstasy there. So I feel like that's the only way to calm the storm that's going on inside, is to get away, maybe get away in nature, hug a tree, get your feet in the grass if it's not snowing where you are. I feel like it's time for you to ground yourself, I think essentially is what it's saying. We've got surrender to trust. Now, I think that this is why this is here. I think that this surrender to trust is, it's like this is you surrendering to trust, going from this turbulent energy and finding the courage to get in the flow. We've got trust yourself and your decisions. Don't be swayed by other people's strong opinions about what you do. Take action and be confident that you have chosen the right path. So I feel like it's a moment of you going, wait a second, that's not what I had planned. I'm the leader and that's not what I planned. And I feel like it just took you a moment to recalibrate, to get the GPS recalibrated. That's what it feels like. Let's talk about tarot. Tell me about tarot for Scorpio. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus and Jupiter. Thank you for your thumbs up, by the way, and the way that you love on this channel. Your thumbs up, your hypes, whatever you do to support the channel, I appreciate it. It's not a very big deal to you, but it's a huge deal for me, Scorpio, and it's the way that we bring in new Scorpio energies here. That's the way they find us, is if you like or hype the video. Let's find out what's going on here. Tell me about Scorpio. Ooh, okay. These ones just jumped right out. All right. Yeah, you're taking charge here. I feel like that's what's happening. It feels like you are realizing that if you want something to go down, if you want your plan, Two of Wands, if you want your plan to work out, if you want to be able to execute your plan, you're going to have to step into your big boy shoes or your big girl shoes. You're going to have to step into the Emperor energy, the place where you're in control. You're the one who pursues what you want. This is somebody in their masculine energy. So whether you're a man or a woman, this is somebody who's acting from their masculine energy. It feels like somebody who is learning to control themselves, learning how to run the empire, somebody who could be a new emperor. I'm saying learning how because it's saying here that you need to answer the call to be the emperor. You have to say, okay, I'm ready to step into the emperor's shoes. And I think that this plan of empathically pulling back, it's still empathy and it's water, it's flow. I feel like two people are still connected, or you're still connected to the situation, even though you don't want to be. I feel like, yeah, the Tower's here. You don't really want to be connected to the situation because you know what I feel is I feel that this Leo moon is for you, asking you to release control. I think that's what it is. I feel like, the full moons always show up to ask us to release something, to purge something. And I think for you, it's no coincidence that we got the card that has the boat on the water. I feel like you need to release control of your emotions, being so controlled within your emotions. We got the Strength card. I think that the Strength card and the Nine of Pentacles is telling me that is how you mask the turbulence, the emotional turbulence underneath. I think you get stoic. I think you get confident. I think you let people see you standing upright in your shoes. Like I feel like you own the room. Like you do these confident things. You dress nice. You show up looking really well. And I feel like I don't know if it's a facade, but I feel like it's more like a protective mechanism, because I think underneath is what's going on is you're really trying to find the courage to figure out why you are so why you're being thrown up against the rocks in terms of your emotions here. Tell me about the Nine of Pentacles and strength. I think that's how you exert your strength, show your strength, or become confident, is by getting into your Nine of Pentacles energy. We have the Ace of Swords, we have the Two of Swords, and we have the Knight of Cups. Well, there we go. I think that somebody has some feelings underneath the surface for someone else, and it doesn't necessarily have to be love. Look, this is Piscean energy. The Knight of Cups is here, and I do oftentimes see this card as somebody who is loving the self. So I feel like I feel like somebody's trying to make a decision about either opening their heart, being more vulnerable emotionally, or you are definitely trying to make a decision about someone else. Now, I feel like if this is a decision about someone else, Scorpio, I feel like the way that you deal with them is through stoicism. I feel like the way that you deal with things that you don't want other people to see, you don't want the other people to see that you have this emotional turbulence under the surface. And so I feel like you go into stoicism immediately. Now, I think that there is a decision to make here, or that you're trying to make a decision, or that you feel like you have a mental block in terms of making some type of emotional decision. The Ace of Swords is here. I think that you want to have a conversation. You want to say it. You've come to a realization. But I feel like you're still dealing with some sort of a block, a block to the heart space. And that could mean like, I've been here before. I'm not showing somebody my feelings. All they're going to get from me is the practical, solid, hardworking person who shows up dressed to the nines. That's what they're going to get from me. So I feel like ultimately underneath the surface, it's very tumultuous emotionally, because you are, your heart chakra might be opening. Like it feels like you are trying to unblock the heart chakra. Look, we have Two Swords, and then we have the Ace of Swords here. That's 3. That tells me that what's under the surface here, under the surface of the water, is really that. I don't want to be heartbroken. I don't want to get my heart broken again. Tell me about the Queen and the flow. So I think that in order to calm your storm, that you get into the flow, and the way that you get into the flow is by slipping into your Queen of Cups energy, which is compassionate and kind and loving and caring. We've got the Queen of Pentacles, we've got the World card, and we've got the Judgment card. So I feel with the World card and the Judgment card here, that making this small move is going to change your trajectory. What I mean by this is that maybe you're someone who usually would just walk away from the situation. I'm not ready for it. You're not seeing my emotions. I'm done. But I think that you are changing the way you deal with it by getting immediately into the flow, which means you calm your nerves, you calm your emotions, and then you decide, I'm going to make some sort of decision that is going to change the way I look at things. So the Judgment card is making a decision that changes trajectory, right? It's also that you've been in this situation before, and so you might be triggered the same time over and over and over again. And I think that you want to do something different. So the Judgment card tells us that a situation returns to us to give us the opportunity to look at it again, to act differently toward that situation again, and to learn something different from it. And it's up to us, right, when it shows up, as to whether we really do want to pay attention and make the change. And if we don't, it still keeps showing up until we decide that we're going to finally look it in the eyes. So the World card is here. I think that the Judgment card is a milestone. It feels like it's a bit of an accomplishment for you. And it does also feel like the end of a chapter. So it feels like the end of the chapter is here. It feels like this thing is finally showing up. It's come back around. It could be a person. It could be a situation. It could be a job. We've got the Queen of Pentacles in the room now. So the Queen of Pentacles is here. I feel like once you close the door to the old reactions, the reactionary way that you would deal with somebody who ruffles your feathers underneath the surface, is the old you. And I think the World card tells me this is a new day. And the way now you're going to deal with it is you're going to stay in the storm, but you're going to steady yourself. So we have the Queen who's sitting in the on the throne, right? But is also under the water. So you're steadying yourself. Queen of Pentacles is here, and you're looking at it in a practical way. You're not looking at this situation or this connection or this person or whatever this is for you. You're not looking at it in an emotional way. The Queen of Pentacles has showed up to back up the Queen of Cups. Now, the Queen of Cups is somebody who's very emotional, very empathic, right? It comes up around the empathy card. But the Queen of Pentacles is very practical. I'm solid, I'm grounded. I'm going to move slow, and I'm going to look at the details first and collect the data to make sure that I'm not overreacting emotionally. So the Queen of Pentacles comes to back up the Queen of Cups. Now, that could be feminine or masculine energy for you. I think that going forward, as you make your changes in how you treat things and situations that come up that you've dealt with before, maybe that triggered you in one way, I feel like you want to change your mind because the World card is here. And I feel like you have a new plan. And your new plan was, instead of walking away, cutting them off, pretending I have no interest, what I'm going to do is I'm going to devise a plan. A plan to take this path, take that path. It looks like you're about to make some sort of a decision based on empathy. Tell me about this plan. Okay, well, the plan is that we are going to stay in justice. We're going to stay, it's going to have to work out for me the way I want it. I'm going to have justice in the situation, but I am going to deal with it in a harmonious way. I'm going to stay in balance because I don't want all of this tumultuous stuff underneath the surface to take over and cloud my mind. Tell me about justice. We have the Tower, okay. And then we have the Death card, oh my gosh. All right, so look, I feel like you're used to always having a plan. And I think that your plan is being foiled. I think the universe is foiling your plan. The universe is here to say, look, this is a different time. I'm giving you a shift in your energy, a shift in the Death card, which means things have changed. You have changed. Transformation is here. That's your energy, Scorpio, right? The Tower is here, Scorpion energy, right? And then justice. So I feel like the Tower shifts you into a different plan so you can make a different decision, but the only reason you're making the different decision is because of the transformation. And it turns out to look more empathic on the surface than it did in the past. In the past, you would have just went, holy crap, I'm feeling too many feelings about this, whether it's anger or whether it's emotion because of love, or maybe you're feeling emotional about a situation. Instead of running away from it, you're now planning to deal with it in justice, which is, I'm going to have balance. I'm going to weigh everything and measure everything. I'm going to look at it in swords. I'm going to look at it logically. The Queen of Pentacles comes to back up the Queen of Cups, which gives us a little more emotional stability in the way that you're dealing with something here. I think that this big transformation that you've gone through here, because I really do feel that the Leo moon helped you release a way you used to be and showed you that there is a new day and a new time and a new way that you can react to things, that you can actually respond instead of reacting. So I feel that you're answering the call to step into the Emperor energy here. And let's find out what this is here. We've got the Nine of Swords, the Moon energy, and the Seven of Cups. I kind of like that because, look, I feel as though you are going to answer the call. You're going to face the situation, face the person, face the boss, face whoever it is. But I feel like you usually get angry, emotional, and you get the hell out of there. I don't think you're doing that anymore. I think that you're answering the call in the Emperor energy, which means I'm going to stand up and step forward in confidence. And even though there's still a little bit of worry underneath the surface, people can't see it. I'm going to say that people can't see it. Who they see is the Emperor. And I feel like that is what you wanted to do. You wanted to be able to stay calm enough under the surface, even though there's a little bit of worry about how this whole situation is going to pan out. I feel like you're answering the call of the Emperor, and you're taking it on anyway. Like I always tell my son, it doesn't matter if you're nervous or anxious about the situation. Feel the fear and do it anyway. And that's what the Emperor would do, right? The Emperor, underneath that cloak, has armor. The Emperor is always ready for the fight, right? We've got the Moon energy here. Things are not as they seem. We've got the Seven of Cups. There is a bit of an illusion. So I think that by standing up in your Emperor energy, even though you're a little bit nervous about what's going on under the surface, that you're creating an illusion for other people to see that you are in control of your emotions, in control of the situation. That's okay, I meant to do that. It feels like that kind of energy. I really think you've made a really big change in how you are answering the call. Instead of ignoring, ghosting, not talking to you, going to turn my back on you. Not saying that you all do that. I'm going to say somebody here has made a major change. Stepping into their power, which is the Emperor energy, which is pulling my energy into a very stable leadership place where people see me as a person of influence rather than a person who cuts out when the emotions get too high. Look, I'm going to put down 3 cards here. We're going to go into the extended. If you want to go into the extended and watch me clarify this, we'll put down these 3 cards, and this usually ends up being your advice or what's going to happen next. If you want to come into the extended, please go and look at the top of the pinned comments. One pinned comment, click on the comment that says read more. There's a link there if you would like to come to the extended. It's in the membership. Please come to the membership if you would like to have 4 extendeds in a month for one sign. And you can see them all. They all go there, right? So you'll get more than for one sign if you're going there to watch. So if you're interested in a private read, please know the private reads are open. I just had the most lovely call with my Scorpio friend Janae, and we had the great call today, and we got a chance to talk to each other about something really cool. And the between 5 and 75% off, and there are other discounts there if you decide to connect to me live. If you want a pre-recorded reading, those start at $25. Okay, I had to gush on about Janae. All right, let's look at the 3 cards. We've got the 4 of Swords in the reverse. We've got the 8 of Wands, and then we have the 3 of Pentacles. Look, I think that you being more vulnerable, right? Now, the thing is that the Emperor is somebody who is quite stoic on the surface, but I feel like the Emperor is a little more, how can I say, is a little less... is a little bit less of a person who is not going, like the Emperor is always going to face everything head on, right? That's why the Emperor looks straight at us, right? Emperor is going to face it head on, and I think that you are going to allow vulnerability after some sort of healing process that's taken place over the full moon. It's going to cause you to move forward and build some sort of foundation with somebody. So I feel like although the foundation itself is going to build slowly, that I think that the decision that you make to release yourself from some sort of a mental prison here, right? We had the 3 swords. I feel like you feel less worried because now you're in control of everything that was going on under the surface of the storm, right? You're in control of the storm. Okay, we're going to go into the extended. If you'd like to be there, you know how to get there. Look at that. We've got a new beginning coming up for someone, a situation, a job. I don't know what it is, but we'll talk about it in the extended. If you want to be there, that's where we'll be. I'm going to go for now, but I'll be back because I'm always back. Thanks, Scorpio. I'm going to go for now. See you there. Bye-bye.